Hi, and welcome to the Unlock Your Life Purpose Summit. I am your host, Lorna Moon, and today we are very blessed to have a man of many talents, Saul K. Now, Saul is a dadpreneur. Yes, it's not just for moms. Dads get to be dadpreneurs too. He's a musician who traveled for 20 years. Now he gets to stay at home with his two wonderful kids, and he gets paid to be with his family. And he also helps others do the same. So let's welcome Saul.
Thank you, Lorna. Good to be here.
Good to have you. So you have lived quite the life. And the type of music that I know that you play is different than, that bubblegum pop people hear on the radio.
Not a pop troll. It's true. Yes.
So tell us how you found your purpose, and please don't leave out the type of music you could play because I think it's super cool.
Oh, sure. Okay, I'll talk about that along the way. So in my life story in a bit, and you're over here in my Brady Bunch, so if I look over here, I'm looking at you.
Okay.
So really, for me, the story goes like this. So when I was 2, apparently I was like hugging speakers. Back in the day, in the late 70s, early 80s, there were those giant speakers, if you remember.
Yes.
Hug the speaker, and I would sit in front of the speakers for like an hour listening to music, which now that I have a 2-year-old, I know that that's very unusual behavior for a 2-year-old to sit and focus and, concentrate on something. And so when I was 5, I started playing piano. But I loved music, but I hated practicing, pretty much like every other kid in the world.
Yeah.
And so I quit music probably 20 times between 5 and 10. I mean, I remember going to recitals and being like, Mom, I hate this. And I'm failing at recitals. I was so nervous, I kept quitting. And then finally, when I was 11, someone showed me how to play, speaking of pop, a pop tune on piano. This was probably like some Phil Collins song. Is in my left hand and chords in my right hand. I think it was actually Against All Odds. Yes, that was the tune.
That was a good song.
There was a song by some Mr. Take These Broken Wings. That was the other tune.
I like that one too.
So those two songs, it was like, wait a second, you mean I can play music that I actually like on piano? This is great. This is like a revelation. I don't have to play Bach and Chopin and all this stuff. And so that really kind of opened up the floodgates of an integrated music experience that wasn't just in the piano room or at the recital. It was like the music in the world, you can actually take ownership. So this was a big deal for me.
Wow.
And then when I was 12, I picked up the guitar and I basically didn't put it down for, 20 years. It's like instant love affair, started playing. Shortly thereafter, I took a career survey it must have been my freshman year of high school. And I decided I was either going to be an actor or a musician. And so in high school, I was in like 9 plays, 10 plays, musicals. I was a bad actor. Like I was always got the B part or the C part. The character that gets killed. Like that was always me. I was like, I don't think this is going to work out, theater. And so let me go with music. And so I applied to a school called Berklee College of Music when I was 17. And it was the only school I applied to. I was like, I'm going to do this. This is it. It was like a very, singular decision. And I got in. And that was kind of fast forward from 2 to 19. That was how it all started.
So you had no plan B. You knew, like, I'm getting in here and I'm playing music.
There was no plan B at all. There was never. And the irony or the interesting part is everyone in my family has degrees or multiple degrees or, professionals. There's a lot of doctors in my family. So one of my first albums was called Doctor's Orders. It's kind of a way of paying tribute. But I got massive resistance from my family. Well, you're going to music school? It's crazy. And then, the funny story is when, my dad always, I think, had this, because his father was a doctor and his father was a doctor. There's this long lineage of medicine in my family. But my dad, bless his heart, when I was a kid, he would bring home these he's an eye surgeon, these surgery videos of like a new technique. It's like, Saul, look at this. This is, keratotomy. And it's like, like video of an eye surgery, the way I would bring home music. So excited. And so that pretty much cured me from wanting to do medicine, ever. Like I faint at needles and I've passed out many times in hospitals and stuff. So that was that. And so finally actually became successful as a musician and was traveling around. My dad calls me up as a classic moment. He says, Saul, congrats on your success. You got a couple albums out. You're on the road. He's like, I think you're finally ready for med school.
Oh no.
So it was very fun. We had several of those conversations. And then like maybe a few years later, he's like, wow, you're actually making some money. This is great. Maybe you should become a lawyer now.
Oh
So
my gosh.
it took years for them to finally realize that was never going to happen, but I knew in my mind, I had just made up my mind, and we'll talk about this later in terms of your life purpose. But when you really make a real decision, you don't need a permission slip, right?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. When you really make a real decision, you don't need a permission slip.
A lot of people are, I don't know, back when I was in elementary school, we had to get a permission slip, to
Yes.
leave the class or whatever. Like it was a thing. And I think
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people are, especially in the world of social media that we live in, we're looking for this external validation of, yes, it's okay, you can do this, right?
Mm-hmm.
In reality, all of the great entrepreneurs that we all know, whether it's like an Elon Musk, or Mark Zuckerberg, or I don't know, Sarah Blakely, or anybody,
Yeah.
none of them got permission.
No.
They got resistance, right? They got massive resistance and
Yeah.
haters and naysayer. This is Steve Jobs. It wasn't like, okay, here you go. Great, revolutionize the world,
Yeah.
massive resistance. And so you have to be willing to give yourself permission first, for sure.
Wow. I love that. And I love that parents are so cute. Like, oh, well, now you can go do this.
Okay. I think qualified to do what I want you to do.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. Look, you've had success. Now it's your turn to do what I want.
You played the little game, had your little party, and now, yeah. So it's good, but definitely got a proud papa now for sure.
But you just kept charging in with the music.
Yeah, it was. There's a Tony Robbins tells this story of I don't know, it's some like Spanish sea captain. It's one of these classic stories, and they arrive on an island and they're going to take over this island, right?
Mm-hmm.
Moor all the boats. I think that's the right word. They dock the boats or whatever, just offshore, and they all gather around on the beach, and they're all listening really closely, and they say, Captain, what are our orders? What do we do? He says, listen closely. He says, burn the boats.
Burn the boats.
Burn the boats? How are we going to leave? It's like, burn the boats. We're taking the island. And so this is the thing that all entrepreneurs, they have to do, just to whatever degree that means in their life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some people have, entrepreneurs, really, it's all about risk tolerance. Like that is embedded into the meaning of the word. It's like people that are willing to take on risk, right? And so when you're willing to burn the boats, say there is no plan B,
Mm-hmm.
you'll figure out a way because you have to.
Yeah.
Like success is the only option ultimately. And I think a lot of people, may give themselves easy outs. Well, I don't know, who's listening, whatever. But if there's still some back doors, you know what? Well, if it doesn't work out, like if you even have that thought, then you haven't like fully made a decision. And it takes time. A lot of people don't. It takes time to get there. And a lot of people, they're looking for this external validation. Like, yes, your purpose is good, right?
Yeah.
Yes, what you want to do is the right choice. And by you making that and really saying, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm either going to die on the road trying, or I'll see you at the top of the mountain. Whatever that is. Like that could be being the best parent. That could be being a great teacher. It could be creating Spanx. I'm just saying that because I just heard this interview with her yesterday.
And they're having a 50% off sale. No.
Yeah, whatever your thing is like it's all in. And the people that are willing to do that absolutely translate into how the world receives you. There's like a famous quote, I think is a Goethe quote, is like, until one is committed, there's like a hesitancy. And when you're bold enough to commit, the universe actually conspires to help you.
Yes. That is so true. But you have to commit, right? And you have to burn your boats.
For sure. And I think that with adults, I mean, I'll just tell you a little bit of my story. So one of the ways that I burn my boats, this is definitely not for everyone, and I'll tell you what happened, but I was teaching music also when I was in my early 20s. And I had probably 30 to 50 students a week, and I taught, piano and guitar and singing, bass, whatever, music workshops, that stuff. And I realized for me, teaching music, which is absolutely noble, honorable, any music teachers out there, it's great. I did it for 13 years. And I got to a point where I was like, hey, this is not a destination for me. But if I don't make a radical shift, it will be. And is
Yeah.
that okay? Yeah, that's okay. But for me, it wasn't okay. So basically, in 1 hour, I called a buddy of mine. Hey, would you like to have 30 to 50 music students? I think at that time I had about 35. And he was like, yeah. So I called all my music students. I fired them. I fired them all.
Wow.
No way. Cut it all off, and I went on the road.
Wow.
It,
That takes cojones.
it was a bold move, and it forced it. Right. I was like, I have to go on the road and figure this out. And, even though I had to go into a lot of debt to do it, which piled into a whole snowball of debt, which then I had to crawl out of, which I did. It's another story. If I have time to tell it, I will. It was psychologically, I had to go all in. I had to burn the boat. And as soon as I did that, hey, well, all of a sudden this stuff opened up, right? This was back in the days where, it continued to snow. So did a lot of ski resorts in Montana, Colorado, also Foot Springs, Heavenly up in Tahoe, like all that whole thing I did and I did some, a lot of summer festivals and things like that. And it was great. And it was amazing. And so at some point we should talk about like, how do you pivot too? Like how do you
Yeah.
go into pivot, since that's a buzzword right now?
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, I mean, you pivoted by burning your boats in one in one straight, by getting rid of the students and saying, I'm going on the road, I need to figure this out. Then you were on the road and you toured for what, 20 years?
yeah, I toured very heavily for 10 years.
Okay.
And what happened was, and so this is an interesting thing for those of you that have like, I'm doing this, and then it's a few years later, it's like, I don't know if this is the thing, right? Some of you watching this, listening to my voice, you might be at that point in your life where I've been like, man, I don't want to be a coach or trainer or whatever the thing is that you like, this is it. And then at a certain point, like, I don't know, maybe you're intuitive, I tell your gut doesn't lie, right? There's something else that I need to do, something else I can give. So for me, music was it.
Mm-hmm.
All in, 100%, no matter what it took. I was going for it. I saw James Taylor at the Royal Albert Hall when I was like 13. I'm like, that is what I want to do, right?
Yeah.
So I did it. Never played the Royal Albert Hall, but I did it to my level. I have 10 CDs out on iTunes. You can find me. And at a certain point, I was playing bars 6 to 7 nights a week, and look, I got nothing against alcohol. I like a good scotch every now and again, but I just felt like there's got to be a bigger purpose than just playing in bars, because basically you're just there to sell alcohol at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right? Bring people in to buy alcohol. That's it. I mean, I hate to
And
pull
keep them there buying more because they're enjoying your music.
nothing wrong with drinking. I'm cool with it. But from like a purpose perspective, I realized there's got to be a higher purpose to my music. There must be. It can't just be this. Because I knew guys that have been playing bars 50 years. I met them. I played gigs with them. Like, oh no, I don't want to be that dude. I don't want to be that dude, right? It was very clear. And so I started playing music in the Jewish world, because I'm Jewish. You may have guessed by my name. Or besides so I had started getting more connected to my faith, and my practices. And there was a need to, my perception of what is Jewish music was always like, it's just some bad klezmer, a bunch of guys dancing around sounding terrible. Like, this is what the common perception of Jewish music is. And this is what I heard growing up. It was really terrible. I honestly, to tell you the truth, someone actually asked me to be in a Jewish music band in the early 2000s. And I said, absolutely not. I cannot stand Jewish music. It's terrible. That's what I said. He was like, no, check it out. Just, he was a classically trained musician. He studied Indian music. And so I connected with him, and I started doing these, worship services. It's called Shabbat on a Friday night. We do, play like a service.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a community grow of, it's like 20 people came. And then it was 400 people every Friday night dancing, singing.
Wow.
It grew. It was like this. It was like a whole scene. It was amazing, and I realized the power of music in worship and how I could kind of like take all of the skill set from the whole rock and roll life and channel it towards the higher purpose, right? And
Oh,
like,
that's beautiful.
and it's not for everyone, but for me, it felt like, oh, this is what my music's supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I had my other pivot moment in my kind of bar music career was I played this club in Sacramento, classic clubs, a blues club has been there since the 30s. It's called the Torch Club. There's like pictures of fighters on the wall and a bunch of wood, and it just smells like sweat in there. It's like old blues club. It's grimy, but I love it. So I did a gig there, and then we had 100 people there. They were dancing and whatever, and buying drinks. And so the next day, I called the club owner just to say thank you for having us. And she said, that was great, Saul, but your people don't drink enough.
Your people don't drink
Yeah,
it.
that's what she said. She's like, hey, we make money selling blues. Your people don't drink enough. I'm like, oh,
You
interesting.
Jews aren't big enough drunks.
I mean, at that time it was everybody. Like,
Oh,
it was
okay.
everybody. Yeah. So, but that is true. Jews don't drink a lot. But anyway, there's a whole story about that. So I'm like, okay, great. We'll do another gig the next month. And I'm like, this time, hey, everyone get a hotel room, have shots, whatever. It's just like, let's see what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
So there was even more people that came, sold a bunch of CDs, back in the days when people did that.
Yes.
Dancing. It was packed. It was packed. The next day, I called up and, hey, thanks so much. How was it this time? Was anybody? She's like, no, not really. The bar registers, the sales weren't good enough. And I said, you know what? I didn't do music. I didn't spend my whole life doing music just to sell booze. I'm out.
Yeah.
Hung up, and that was it. And I basically never played a bar again after that. And
Wow.
all of my musical energy, and I channeled it into the kind of the religious, spiritual community world. And
Mm-hmm.
it was amazing. It was never anything I planned. I mean, as I told you, I never planned on it at all. I was like, I'm going to be James Taylor or John Mayer or somebody, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't that, that was not the plan, but how do you make God laugh? You make plans, right?
Exactly. And God goes, that's so cute. Let me show him what he's really going to do.
Right. And so, yeah, so then I kind of got into that. I put out an album called Jewish Blues Volume 1. I realized like Jews had been slaves for 400 years, but there was no music about that experience.
Wow.
So I
That's,
put out 5 albums about that. And then I started producing other artists in that world. And I saw the Jewish music, the quality elevate over the last 10 to 15 years. It really has gotten a lot better. A lot of artists, friends of mine have helped to do that. And it's been great. It's been a great blessing. So that was like a major pivot in my life, unexpected.
wow.
And
That's incredible.
then we got pregnant. I say we, I mean my wife, but people say we got pregnant.
Yeah, we got pregnant. Yeah.
We meaning she got pregnant in 2014, and I was on the road about 200 dates a year. 225 was my highest year. Playing different communities and whatnot. And I realized that I was gonna be gone for all these moments, like first steps. Actually, this morning I took my son for a bike ride. He had his first moment riding without the balance buddy. So that was like awesome.
Wow.
But like, these moments, I can't, like, you don't get those back, right?
No, if you're gone 200 days a year, you're not seeing very many of them.
Yeah. And so I had to figure out a way to get paid to be home with my kids. And I had no other skills beside music. Like, I mean, just call what it is. Dropped out of 5 colleges. I got no other skills. I can play, I can sing, I guess maybe sell myself as a musician. Like, that's what I got. And so I went online looking for a solution. I typed in like the lazy way to make money online. And some site popped up. It was like lazy money or something. And I, joined this like affiliate marketing company. And the guy that I joined quit 2 weeks later, went on to make a living blogging about how terrible that whole affiliate MLM network marketing world is. I'm like, great. Hey, welcome to online marketing. Here we go.
Wow.
So at that moment, in terms of purpose, like I had a really clear purpose, and Tony Robbins says, when your why is clear, the how is you'll figure it out. Right. And so my we were living in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath in San Francisco, about to have a kid. And I knew we were going to outgrow that home very quickly. And so I needed to move my family into a bigger home and increase my income and get paid to be home. So I kind of kept watching videos, listening, paying attention to people that were making 4, 5, 6 figures a month, like dressed casually like me. And I said, man, I got to figure this thing out. These guys can do it. I can do it. So I'll just kind of fast forward the story. My first company went bankrupt. Second company got shut down by the FTC. Third company got shut down by the SEC. Fourth company also went out of business. And then I joined this technology company. I was like, oh, this is going to be great. It's tech. It's a startup. It's wearable tech. It's going to be amazing. I had a team of 19,000 people in 36 countries. I'm like, this is it. I got residual income for the rest of my life. Guess what? No, company failed so badly. They left the country, changed their name. Everybody left.
Oh, no.
So I had great desire and ambition, but not the correct vehicle. And then about 21, 22 months ago, I met a man that he's an older gentleman, he's in his 60s, and he showed me a business report for a company he's been a part of for about 20 years. And he showed me customers for 20 years. He showed me real residual income. He was probably making 125 grand a month residually at that time. I'm like, okay, this looks legit. I think this company may survive. I don't know, And so, so I partnered with them about 22 months ago, and it's been a great blessing, actually.
Wow. So what company is that?
Oh, so we're not allowed to say the company name online,
Okay.
but I can say that we're in the business of essentials. We sell things like hand sanitizer, right? We've been selling it for 35 years. Home cleaning products. We basically make people's homes safe, which is another part of my mission. I take out all the toxic cleaners, like, all the Procter & Gamble stuff. Those of you that have ever cleaned your homes.
The stuff when you clean your bathroom and it says, make sure you open all your windows so you don't die. That stuff.
Lysol, scrubbing bubbles, Mr. Clean. Stuff in a bucket, you got a bomb, right? And so
pretty much.
So basically our company, one of our missions and one of my personal missions now is to make 10,000 homes safe by taking out all the toxins and putting in eco-friendly green cleaners in your home. I had the other day I was doing a meeting with my crew and my kids decided to clean the house. Like, hey, this is great. We want to encourage this, right? So I go downstairs and they had all these cleaners on the floor using a broom. They had the cap in their mouth. And thank God they were like child safe cleaners and stuff.
Yeah.
Like Clorox,
Oh my gosh. Maybe a trip to poison control center. Call to poison control if it was not, right?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, this year there's been 50,000 calls to poison control centers because everyone's freaked out about COVID and they're like pouring Clorox and spraying their kids with Lysol,
Macing their kid with Lysol.
Yeah, literally, like, come in, so like, it's really a need and a great blessing for sure.
That's fantastic. I can't believe you have your kids cleaning the house. I need to learn how to get my dogs to do that.
Well, I just put some sponges on their feet. There you go.
I know. That's so cool. Wow, that's amazing. So you've been doing that, and that's allowing you to be dadpreneur and work from home dad, and I'm sure you still play music sometimes.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I did 100 shows last year.
Oh, so you're still doing shows too?
Yeah, which means, for me, that's like semi-retired. I mean, that's like 2 a week as opposed to like six a week.
Okay.
Quality has increased, but unfortunately with the whole COVID situation,
yeah,
I had like all of my gigs canceled. Like in March when the California got shut down, like I had all my gigs canceled for 4 months, basically.
Wow.
Dozens and dozens of gigs, like tens of thousands of dollars were like gone overnight. And so, thank God I had this other residual income stream that kind of came in and filled the gap. And so I know that, a lot of people right now, they're in a situation where their plan A is compromised. They're furloughed, it's unstable. I mean, 40 million Americans have just lost their jobs, like this is reality. And so I'm just so grateful that I had something. And, I know it will come back. People will slowly, venues will open again and things like that. Like synagogues, like you can't even go to pray, right?
Yeah.
It's all Zoom. So like that's
like virtual synagogue. Yeah.
Church. I know a lot of people.
Yeah. I think our church just started like 3 weeks ago back live, but they're still doing the Zoom for people who don't feel comfortable, and they have, everything. They got everything really spaced out, and but yeah, it's
Yeah, I mean, in my wife's synagogue, like, if 50 people could come, if they're 6 feet apart and wearing masks and they don't sing, it's like, what? That doesn't even make any sense. Just stay
yeah,
home, like, just stay home, and then in a few months it will come back. But in the gig economy that we're in, people don't stay in jobs 2 to 4 to 6 years. Like 2 years is a long time at a job,
yeah,
and so this idea of having working from home is now the norm. It's going
yeah.
to the home, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
with the company I've been with, we've been talking about 3 trends for 35 years. North American made products, people want that more, right? Especially
Yeah,
now.
especially now.
Especially now. People want to go greener, right? People want to go just maybe 5 degrees, maybe not totally California crunchy, but
Yeah,
there's a little more, okay? And,
yeah,
and then online shopping, it's $5 trillion a year, right?
yeah. And right now, I mean, Amazon is like not the reliable. I mean, Amazon had the market. If you wanted anything, anybody went to Amazon and it was like, it's going to be here in 2 days. And
Right?
it is with COVID, they've basically just stopped stocking a lot of things. Like try and get any sort of exercise equipment. I've been looking for 12-pound dumbbells for 4 months. There's no dumbbells anywhere. Like a yoga mat, good luck. Like, and then if they're waiting for something to be shipped, it's like, yeah, we'll ship it when we feel like it, even with Amazon. So if
Yeah,
you're somebody out there that, has something and you're working with someone, or you're creating your own products and you're shipping them in a reasonable time frame,
for
like,
sure. You're
like you said, I mean, everything's been disrupted. Amazon's like no longer the go-to, and they did it to themselves.
Yeah, for sure. And one also, it's interesting, the company I'm with, Amazon's the #1 client for UPS. We're actually the #2 client. So we actually get essentials like in days to people's homes. But
Mm-hmm.
like, there's been a major disruption in the world, right? Major, right? The Japanese word for crisis also means opportunity. So a lot of people are like, what do I do? Like, how do I keep my family safe, from a health perspective? How do I put a wall around my family's finances
Yeah.
and a lot of people, they're open now to, they call it a side hustle, call it an extra stream of income, a plan B, whatever. They're
Yeah.
open because it's like, wow, this is the reality now. Things have shifted. And, even people here in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area where I live, the whole tech world, half these companies, they're not going to bring people back because they don't have to. They're like,
Yeah.
wait a second, we're fine, and we don't have to pay for office space,
Yeah.
right? So that's going to create a massive global movement because people won't have to live near where they work. So there's going to be a lot of shifting for sure in the world, and the people that are willing, those of you that are watching this, that you're looking for your purpose, that you're looking to step out there, now is the time to be louder with whatever it is that you're doing, 5 to 10%, to be a voice of confidence, to be a voice of strength, to step up and lead. Like, this is when leaders are born. Leaders are not born in like that when everything's going fine. Leaders are born in crisis. Leaders are born
Mm-hmm.
when the world is shifted and people need direction, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is that you offer, my son Elijah, we always talk about, why is money exchanged? Because he's like really into money right now. It's a funny thing.
Cute.
Value and service, right? This is why I appreciate what you're doing, Lauren, is like you're providing this awesome free value and service for people
Mm-hmm.
to inspire them. This is why Tony Robbins just did a free 7-day, workshop online. This is so
Yeah.
great for doing this. And so the more value that you can provide, the more you can really set yourself up as an authority in whatever genre that you're in, and really expand your organic following and the people that you serve.
Yeah. Exactly. And with this disruption, now is the perfect time to be listening to that gut, that inner voice that's been kind of nagging at you, that you're like, shut up, I have a good job, leave me alone, I'll do that when I'm retired, right?
Sure. I mean, it's so funny,
Now
like,
time to stand up and listen to it and be that leader, like you said.
for sure, for sure. The world definitely needs leaders. Oh, by the way, should we talk about the free, my free gift?
Yes. Saul has an amazing free gift.
Yeah, so I have 2 books out and a third one on the way. My first book is called Go. Second book's called Go Fast. And my second book is all about, like 14 different strategies to improve your life right now by just 5 to 10%. So I'm giving copies away. All you have to do
Yay.
is text the word interview to 415-951-3300. That's 415-951-3300. Just text the word interview
And
and
I'll
I'll
put that down here too. So,
and there's also a link below you can click on. I think it's workwithsaul.com.
mhm.
And then I'll get you a PDF of the book. So it's just some quick hacks, relationship, health, mental, physical, financial, that will help you move your life forward 5 to 10 degrees in the right direction.
And who can't use every single one of those right now?
For
Every
sure.
single one of them.
For
So that's
sure.
fantastic. Thank you so much. That's
Absolutely.
super duper valuable. And I'm sure once they get through with that, they're gonna be hounding you for the rest of your stuff too. So they'll
Otherwise,
find it. Awesome. Thank you so much, Saul, for all your wisdom and sharing your stories. And where can people hear some of your music too? Because
oh yeah.
probably a lot of people have not experienced Jewish music.
It's true. Yeah. So you can go to saulk.com.
Mm-hmm.
Or just find me on iTunes. I got 10 albums on iTunes. I'm also on Spotify or everywhere else there's digital music. Very easy to find too. I'm also on Instagram, k.saul. That's KAYE.SAUL.
Mm-hmm.
Find me there. See a lot of pictures of my kids, me doing all kinds of fun stuff.
Awesome.
And yeah, I'm definitely looking to help more people. If it's one thing I know that will guarantee your happiness in this life is serving, right? It's serving people. Like if you're in the funk zone right now, if you're like, man, why do I feel so terrible? You're thinking about yourself too much. Think about who can you help, right? Who can you help? So I wake up every day and I literally ask myself this question: who can I help today? Who needs my help? So I'm here to help.
And that's a game changer. Thank you so much for sharing all your wisdom.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Lauren. I appreciate you.
Thanks.